The village believed the yellow flash died in the night of the Nine-Tailed attack. They were wrong. He was merely waiting to grow up anew. This is the story of Naruto, who inherited his father's genius and his godlike speed. What if Naruto was more like Minato? It started on a regular day when Naruto was 7 years old and hiding from villagers, after having pulled a prank, of course. When he finally thinks he shook them off, he finds a weird kunai stuck in the ground. He's in a forest area near where the famous Nine-Tailed attack occurred, so people don't generally go there, especially not when Naruto's around. He picks up the three-pronged kunai and realizes that there are weird markings on the handle. It looks kind of like sealing jutsu. You gotta remember, Naruto here isn't stupid. He's not a genius or insanely smart, but he's not actively dumb. So I'm just gonna have him be more like his dad. Which made him realize that 1. He's the Nine-Tailed Jinchuriki, and 2. This looks like a powerful jutsu that was probably lost here either during training or during an actual battle. But since no one needs it anymore, Naruto just takes it home. Naruto over the next few days is fascinated by this kunai. It keeps sitting on his counter, and he looks at it from every angle, from every side, figuring out what are these markings. He doesn't understand. He thinks about going to Hiruzen to ask him, but he doesn't want to bother the old man, and he probably wouldn't know either. So Naruto decides to do the one thing that he generally doesn't like to do, and that's go to the library to read. He first goes to the sealing techniques, as he's seen similar markings as is in the kunai in some sealing techniques. But nothing really comes up. He's never seen these markings on a kunai, especially not a three-pronged one. It's weird. He decides that it must have been from someone famous or really powerful. So naturally, he goes to some scrolls and books covering the most powerful jutsus ever, and their users. In it are all 4 Hokage, but Naruto doesn't know much about the 4th. He knows that he fought the Nine-Taileds during its attack, and then, for whatever reason, sealed the beast into Naruto, and died after. So it's not like he can ask him. But when it comes to the jutsu listed under Minato Namikaze, the 4th Hokage, there are some interesting ones. It's noted that he was indeed a sealing master, so maybe he has something to do with it. And he was famous for this technique called the flying raijin. It's explained that this flying raijin technique uses sealing techniques mixed with kunai throwing to create a space-time ninjutsu. This is it! It's exactly what I've been looking for, Naruto says. But then to the annoying part. Apparently this is an S-rank jutsu created by Tobirama Senju, the 2nd Hokage, and only ever used by the 4th Hokage, who perfected it. Not for a lack of trying either, it's just really hard. But Naruto was determined to make it work. He will try his best to use this technique, used by only Hokage, as he wants to be one himself. And so he tries his best, deciphering these sealings, and painting them himself on several kunai, some of which admittedly he stole. But alas, this is the price for power. Naruto was making progress, but it was hard. He's already spent half a year on this project, and he hasn't really gotten anywhere. He'd figure out what some of the markings mean, and was getting a lot better at drawing them consistently and quickly, but it's not like he could do anything with it. His chakra control wasn't even accurate at all. In fact, in the academy, whilst he was okay academically, he couldn't do a single jutsu, not even the clone jutsu that was required to pass as a genin. Another year passed, and Naruto stopped doing these pranks altogether, and he actually got a lot quieter and more reserved. This flying raijin technique was taking up all of his free time, but truthfully, he was actually paying attention in the academy too. He was about middle of the group. He wasn't anything crazy, but he was good academically. Just, no chakra control. But he was finally making some progress on the flying raijin. He now understood the theory of how to use it, as well as the theory of how to pour chakra into this jutsu and what to do after. The only thing he needed now was to be able to properly use his chakra. That was the next hurdle. He tried understanding, why can't I use my chakra like everyone else? I'm not stupid. Then it dawned on him, the one thing that was separating him from everyone else was him being the Jinchuriki. He tried reading up on Jinchuriki, though there wasn't that much. He knew someone called Kushina Uzumaki was a Jinchuriki as well. Was he related to her? They were both Uzumaki after all. And before her, it was someone called Mito Uzumaki, so maybe it just runs in the family. But there wasn't much more after that. Being a Jinchuriki wasn't really a popular job, so people didn't generally like them. And no famous person was ever Jinchuriki, so it's not like we know much about them. But Naruto decided he was going to be the first. If only he understood what it meant to be Jinchuriki. He knew there was a tailed beast sealed inside him, so maybe it was possible to communicate with this beast. He was slowly understanding how to sense chakra, even if he couldn't mold it yet. He knew that he certainly, as an Uzumaki, had chakra, but for some reason, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't flow into his palms when he was trying to do a jutsu. So he understood that there is something blocking his chakra control. Something in his core, right where the tailed beast should be. So he tried his best to meditate and commune with the tailed beast. He was scared, but he needed to do this. He wanted the best chance he had at Hokage, so this was a necessary step. After passing out from exhaustion after a long session of trying to commune with a tailed beast who didn't respond, he woke up in a sewer in front of a giant prison cell. In it, a 9-tailed fox. "I made it! Do you hear me?" Naruto asked. "Of course I hear you, boy. What do you want from me?" "Are you the one interfering with my chakra? If so, I need you to stop. I can't use any jutsu if you do. And I'm pretty sure if that gets me killed, that's your problem too." "Huh. You're pretty smart for a little brat. Fine. So be it. Use your little chakra. But you won't get any help from me." "Fine with me. Thanks, Foxy." "What?" But before the tailed beast was able to say anything else, Naruto disappeared. He was out of there. He was done. He got exactly what he wanted. Some of his chakra control. As soon as he woke up, he felt it. Chakra was flowing through all of his limbs. And when he tried it, he finally managed to use a clone jutsu. Now his graduation to Genin was already guaranteed. And this is when things really started picking up with speed. Naruto was finally able to actually practice the things he learned about. He practiced a lot of jutsu, but his focus was still on this flying raijin thing. And with the kunai he'd spent a lot of time painting seals onto, he tried to test them out. Not on a special training ground, he just went out to a place where he thought he wouldn't be bothered or seen. And after a lot of trying, and puking when he fell into trees, he finally managed to teleport from one tree to the next. But there were still a lot of issues. It took him a lot of time to prepare one kunai, and he wasn't very accurate at throwing them either, and he couldn't do it very far distances. Furthermore, whilst he traveled fast, it wasn't really like teleportation yet. He was sure if he was up against a strong Chunin or even a Jonin, they would probably still be faster than him. But he kept practicing. He had 2.5 more years until he graduated from the academy, but he wouldn't need it. Now that he was able to use jutsu, and he spent even more time dedicated to his studies, he graduated in only half a year after that. He proved that he knew the clone jutsu, as well as any academics that he needed. He was his father's son after all, even if he wouldn't know it yet. Not just graduating early, but he also impressed all of the older shinobi. He'd showed off his flying raijin a few times in spars, and that was really something. It wasn't taught to him, so a lot of people asked how he knew it. But Naruto never gave away his secret. He just said he studied hard on his own, and learned from some scroll. Naruto continued to train and improve his flying raijin, but now there was something else that caught his eye. It was called the rasengan, another one of Minato Namikaze's special moves. And if this one was so powerful, and he was able to do it, maybe he would also be able to do that one. And then, wouldn't he be just as strong as the last Hokage was? He had to know, so now he spent the next weeks and months practicing the rasengan. It focused on forming chakra into a sphere. He wasn't that great at chakra control yet, but now that he was at least physically able to, things were going in the right direction. He placed a leaf on his palm and tried to make it spin without touching it. That was the one piece of advice that was in the scroll Naruto saw in the library. And he was able to do that, but nothing more really. He tried with a pebble and even a bigger rock, and he was kind of able to make them spin, but that didn't really translate into an actual chakra sphere that would be able to hurt an opponent. As Naruto graduated early, there weren't any Genin teams he could join, or Jonin teachers that would want to take him up alone, so he was kind of in limbo for now. But there was one person that was willing to take him under their arm. Someone who heard about this Naruto Uzumaki, who had suddenly got a lot stronger, a lot faster, and mastered one of the 4th Hokage's techniques. The man was Jiraiya of the Sannin, and mentor to the 4th Hokage. He found Naruto training in the woods, with his flying raijin jumping from tree to tree, whilst trying to maintain a rock spinning at his palm. Was he dreaming? Jiraiya didn't see a kid, he saw Minato himself. Of course it wasn't really Minato, but it looked just like him, and he used the 2 signature jutsu that Minato did. He succeeded at one, and was trying to make progress at the other, but Jiraiya noticed that he was doing it all wrong. "Hey kid, come over here." "Huh? Who are you?" "I'm training here." Naruto was kinda annoyed whenever someone stopped him in his training, but for this one, it was worth it. Jiraiya showed him how to actually use the rasengan, and tried using his method, first with the water balloon, then the rubber ball, and finally trying to truly maintain a rasengan. And this one worked even better for Naruto. With his already limited training, he was able to do the water ball and rubber ball very quickly, and with that new understanding, he was actually able to maintain a proper rasengan, pushed it into a tree, and the tree snapped in half. Naruto, not even 12 years old now, was already a powerhouse, certainly stronger than any genin was expected to be. Jiraiya was incredibly proud of the boy and continued to mentor him, and Naruto appreciated it. Having someone who helped him train made his training a lot faster. And having someone so knowledgeable about a lot of different jutsu definitely came in handy for Naruto whenever he had any kind of question about it. And it finally got to the topic of the 4th Hokage. Naruto was very interested in, and Jiraiya was too. Jiraiya realized that Naruto wasn't stupid, so he just flat out told him, "Naruto, the 4th Hokage was your father." Is that so? Yeah, I kinda figured something like that. I figured we were related somehow. Naruto acted kinda nonchalant, but he was still caught off guard. This was his father. The one who he'd been trying to emulate all this time. The one with incredibly powerful jutsu. Made him very proud of his father, but also made him want to surpass him even more. Jiraiya agreed and saw Naruto take a new kind of motivation to his training. He tried to represent his clan, the Uzumaki and the Namikaze, realizing he was the last of both, at least that he knew of. Jiraiya mentioned that back in the day he met another Uzumaki kid, though wasn't likely to be alive anymore. They continued Naruto's training, and he focused especially on trying to mix the flying raijin and the rasengan. It allowed for really powerful combos, and Jiraiya taught him about the ways that Minato used it. Being able to take out large swaths of opponent with incredible speed, as well as power behind the shots he needed. It eventually came time for the regular graduation of the genin. And so Naruto was offered a team in one of the Jonin teams, with Kakashi, Sasuke, and Sakura. He didn't particularly get along with either of them, but he knew that Sasuke was quite good, and a prodigy, though he also knew about the shame that happened to the Uchiha clan a few years back, and knew that it weighed heavily on Sasuke. It was in the bell test that Kakashi realized how truly powerful Naruto was already be, and improving quickly. He was able to use the flying raijin to even outspeed Kakashi at times. He still wasn't able to keep the bell, as Kakashi quickly got it back once Naruto took it from his hands. Naruto also tried his best to use teamwork, with the teammates he had of course. Sasuke wasn't really trying to cooperate, and Sakura didn't have much to offer, but he tried, which allowed Kakashi to pass them. After the test, Kakashi talked to Naruto. "You're really powerful, kid. In fact, you remind me of someone. My mentor, really." "The 4th Hokage?" Naruto asked. How do you know?" "Jiraiya told me." I see. So you know then?" "I do. Minato Namikaze is my father," Naruto said. "And he was your sensei, isn't that right?" "Yes, it is." "Naruto, if you need anything, if you need training, ask me. I'll help you. A favor to my old sensei." "Thanks, Kakashi-sensei, but I won't need it for now. I have a great Sani to teach me, and I love reading books." Over the next few months, whenever they weren't busy with a mission, Naruto was busy training. And in fact, he trained a lot with Jiraiya now, sparring with him. He couldn't really use the rasengan as spars, as if either of them landed a hit, it would seriously injure the other. But he tried to use his flying raijin in combat situations, flying around his opponent and hitting them in their back when they least expect it. And even though he was still less powerful than Jiraiya, naturally, he was catching up quick and was definitely above the power of a regular Chunin by now. After one of the sparring sessions had concluded, Jiraiya told him, "I see Minato in you more and more every day, you know. Your mother too, but more so your father." Naruto learned a lot about his mom, but he was more so interested in his father. Of course he liked his mother, but his father was the 4th Hokage and one of the most powerful shinobi of all time. He naturally wanted to learn about that. Finally, it was time for a secret mission, the Land of Waves. But I'm not going to go into too much detail here, mostly because it happens similar to canon, just that Naruto is a lot stronger here, and smarter, so he's not so worried about these situations, doesn't freeze up as much, but really uses flying raijin to close distances fast, especially with Zabuza and Haku. which also allows him to defeat Haku quite easily, as she doesn't really have the speed advantage anymore. He's able to throw Flying Raijin right into one of the mirrors and teleport right as Haku was about to switch between two mirrors, smashing her in the face. Finally, after everything's said and done, they return to their village, with their entire team having seen Naruto's incredible power, especially Sasuke, who's getting more and more jealous. He was supposed to be the prodigy of this team, and their entire class, but somehow Naruto graduated early and now is stronger than a Chunin? What the hell is going on? Before the Chunin exams, was determined to become a Chunin as fast as possible. Naturally, he didn't struggle much with the academics, and when it came to the Forest of Death, he told his two teammates to grab onto him and started teleporting, faster and faster, each to the next kunai. He'd mastered throwing them right as he was starting to teleport, which means that he could keep going as fast as possible. This allowed him to finish the Forest of Death exam and reach the tower in less than 3 minutes. No one had ever done it this fast, but alas, no one knew the Flying Raijin during their Chunin days. So Naruto was out of the norm. This also means that there was no Orochimaru encounter, as there was never a fight between him and Sasuke and Naruto. Which also means no curse mark, which also means that Team 7 is in a perfect condition to do the preliminaries as well as go on to the finals. Orochimaru is annoyed, but he knows that there will be another chance at the final of the Chunin exams. There would be a month for training, in which Sasuke would be taken under Kakashi's wing. He needed this training, and Kakashi knew it. And Naruto would continue training with Jiraiya, perfecting his rasengan as well as the mix with the Flying Raijin. He spent a lot of time on these two jutsu, but they were just that good, especially when used in combination. But Jiraiya also gets an idea. Naruto is incredibly talented, arguably just as much as Minato himself, but he started training even earlier with Flying Raijin and Rasengan. So what if he also started training earlier with his Sage and Summoning? Minato never really used either, but maybe Naruto would if he was able to properly master them. And so Jiraiya decided that it would be best for Naruto to not only learn the Toad Summoning, but also try his best at the Toad Sage mode. For the last 3 of the 4 training weeks, Naruto was in Mount Myoboku training his Sage mode, and he cut it really close. The tournament was about to start and they were about to cancel Naruto's match when he finally appeared, with some weird marking on his eyes. He used a Flying Raijin to instantly teleport into the arena, so the match would start. Him against Neji Hyuga. But it wasn't really a fight. Naruto destroyed him. Before Neji was able to warm up to 64 palms, Naruto used one of his Flying Raijin, cut right into Neji's blind spot, and pushed a Rasengan with as little chakra as he managed into his back. It still sent him flying, but it wouldn't break his bones or anything. It would just send him unconscious. And with that, in less than 15 seconds, the match was over, before Neji even was really able to activate his Byakugan powers. Winner, Naruto Uzumaki! And with that, the next match was called. Orochimaru in the stands, disguised as a Kazekage, was getting furious. This brat, who'd already stolen his Uchiha Vestal first time, was definitely Minato's child. He looked similar, and he was using the same abilities, the Flying Raijin and the Rasengan. Minato had already annoyed him enough in the first life. Now his kid, this brat, was being just as annoying. Orochimaru decided it would take him upon himself to destroy Minato's legacy forever. The one who stole his dreams of becoming Hokage, who shunned him from the village. And so he changed his plan. Instead of fighting the Hokage, he would now fight this child. He still helped trap Hiruzen so he wouldn't cause issues, but then immediately went down to the arena where Naruto was still right after the battle and erected another barrier, sealing him and Naruto inside. There is no getting out, kid. This is it. You and Minato's legacy will die today. Naruto is now facing down a high Kage, arguably a Hokage level fighter. But you gotta remember, he himself is about Jonin up to Kage level. He has the Haishin, the Flying Raijin, and the Rasengan. And now he has an imperfect Sage mode which he can also use. And so he starts accumulating some chakra. He knows it's faster, so he can take some time until Orochimaru decides to attack, and then use his Flying Raijin to escape. After having gathered some chakra, and now having the red paint around his eyes, signaling Sage mode chakra, Orochimaru gets angry and decides to attack. Naruto notices a flaw in Orochimaru's plan. He still has one of the Flying Raijin that he used to fight Neji outside of the barrier. So he doesn't need to fight Orochimaru. He instantly attaches himself to the Flying Raijin and teleports out of there. Since the Flying Raijin is a space-time ninjutsu, it doesn't care whether there's a barrier in the middle. It only cares about the end destination, and that is freedom. Naruto successfully escaped Orochimaru's trap for now, but the war is still going on in Konoha, and Orochimaru isn't done yet. But that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any suggestions, comment them down below, and I'll see you in the next video.